Okay, there we go. That should fix it. Sorry about that. Here I was spieling on and on and on, and for some reason it deleted my microphone. Thank you, Pizza Man, for letting me know. I probably would have gone the entire hour and a half, completely talking to nobody. No, I appreciate it. What I was saying was, it's been a few days since I was able to stream. I've had different things occurring in my life, some stuff with my preparing for my one-shot, some stuff preparing. It would have been hilarious, but I'm very glad that you pointed out. 'Cause if you wouldn't have said anything, every other indicator to me would have been, oh yeah, I'm being heard loud and clear. Because I don't set the monitor on for my microphone. I find it distracting to hear my own voice in my ear, so I never have that on to listen if I'm being heard through the microphone or what the microphone's actually picking up. So I appreciate it. But yeah, I've been busy preparing for my one shot. That's definitely been a big part of it. I've also been doing some stuff for my Discord D&D server. We had a fairly big I want to call it an event, but it's not a proper event. We have these things every 4 months that allow us to go through our current server members, and we call it the purge because we get rid of all the inactive people on our server so that we have a accurate account of the active members on our server. So I led that this past weekend, which was very, very busy. And just been doing lots of stuff in terms of advertising to get our server numbers back up and get people, interested in playing D&D. Yeah, purge. Every time we have a purge, everyone's like, "It's the purge." Yes, it was a good kind of busy Pizza Man, but it did definitely cut into my stream time. So I figured I would try and host a little stream this morning. This afternoon I'm doing some grocery shopping and getting a costume for my baby because he's going to be having a Christmas photo shoot here in a couple weeks. So I'm looking for a Santa hat for him. So I'm going to be doing that this afternoon. So I figured while he's still asleep, I would hop on stream and try and stream to the masses for a short period of time. Yeah, photo shoots are always fun. Yeah, Pizza Man, so me and my husband are not photo people. His father was actually a photographer and would take an ungodly amount of photos of him growing up. And so my husband abhors any sort of photos at all, even more so than I do. I'm not a photo person at all, which is kind of strange because I'm camming on a live stream, but I just don't like taking photos of myself. But my husband hates it even more so, to the point where I had to beg him. I'm like, please, it's our anniversary. Just take a photo with me. You're the same way. Yeah, no. and you live stream with your cam on too, right? If I remember correctly. I do. Might not be pretty and may scare folks away, but it stays on. You know what? I'm a big believer, 'cause, okay, real talk time. I was a little worried getting into camming for a live stream. I knew that I wanted to cam because I personally am not a VTuber person. It's just not something I'm personally interested in. Good on those people who do VTube, but it's just never been for me. So I knew I wanted to cam, but my little woman insecurities were saying like, oh, you're not like a pretty person. You don't wear like makeup and that kind of stuff. Like there's so many streamers out there that you know get dolled up and they do their hair and their makeup and they have like a fancy background and fancy lights and cool like microphone stuff and cool accessories essentially. I was like, I'm not that person. I shouldn't get into this. And I was like, you know what? No. Camming is not just for stereotypically pretty people. Camming is for people who just want to connect on a personal level with their audience. And regardless of, you know, whether we think that we're attractive or not attractive, I don't think that any of us should feel pressured to be a pretty face on a stream in order to stream our face. Oh girl, it's better to be natural. Allows people to connect with you, but be right back. Gotta take a call. All right, enjoy your call. Thanks for the chat, Pizza Man. Yeah, like I'm a big believer. Like I personally just in life don't put big importance on how I look, whether that's hair or makeup or whatever. Growing up, oh, you're all right back. Okay. I thought this was going to be a bigger phone call for you. But growing up, my mother would wake up 4 hours early to do her hair, her makeup. It was a whole thing. And that's how me and my sister were raised, was knowing, okay, if you got to go anywhere, you wake up 4 hours early, you shower, you blow dry your hair, you straighten your hair, then you do your makeup, you put on perfume, you iron your clothes, you know, X, Y, Z, in order to get to a state where the rest of the world could see you. And when I moved out, like I have naturally curly hair, and I always was told, you know, oh, in order to be acceptable, to be seen, you have to have straight hair. Your hair shouldn't be curly because it looks like a rat's nest kind of thing. And when I moved out, I realized how much time I could save in a day by not straightening my hair. Because blow drying my hair alone took an hour. Straightening it was another hour. That's 2 hours of my day that I could have done anything else with. And so then I kind of embraced my curly hair, and I was like, you know what, why am I worried if people think I've got curly hair or straight hair? So I embraced it, and Like, I barely wear makeup, like once a year kind of thing. It's not something that I have placed a lot of importance on in my adult life. And I'm so much happier for it, because now that I'm a mother, I realize the amount of self-care time I get in a day is very minimal. Pizza Man, same. I'm working on getting more fit, but that's for myself. It was going to be, they didn't answer the phone. Oh, okay, so that's why it wasn't a longer phone call. Yep, get some more sleep, work out, cook, anything. Yes, exactly, Pizza Man. So the more time I save, on beautifying myself, the more time you spend being able to do stuff that makes yourself actually happy or actually healthy. Like working out, I don't really count working out as like a physical appearance kind of thing, because working out has so many other benefits for your mental health and for your physical health, that I don't really see it as a thing to like, oh, I'm doing this for physical appearance only. I will be gone for a few minutes this time. All right, no worries. Yeah, no, I like working out. I gotta be honest, I am not the best for working out for myself. I used to be amazing at working out. I used to go to the gym very regularly, and then some things happened in my life, and I wasn't able to go as often as I used to. But I'm a huge advocate. If you, whether it's going to the gym or doing something in your living room or just going for a walk in your area, I think that working out's a big improvement, not only for your mental health and your physical health, but just emotional health. And I mean, sometimes it does have added benefits to your, like maybe your perception of your self-image. And that's not a bad thing. It's not bad to feel good about how you look. But I don't see working out as something strictly to improve your self-image, because it's so much more than that. But anyways, I won't get into all that, because if I start to get into all the science of exercise, we're going to be here for a little bit. I don't know where I was going with this. I think I was starting to say that, like, with my daily, that's what I was trying to say. Time is of the essence these days. So with my schedule being what it is, streaming. I have a very finite window in which I can stream right now. And I do feel bad, because I think some streamers can really excel if they know what their schedule is going to be and post their schedule. Because of my situation, being a mother, raising my baby right now in my maternity leave, I don't know my schedule. So I basically stream when he's asleep. If I try to stream when he's awake, he plays with my microphone and slaps the desk and is trying to pull things down and chew on wires and all sorts of things. I've definitely had a couple streams where he has joined me. I don't cam because I like to protect my baby's face when I'm streaming, but you can definitely, if you've listened in on previous streams, sometimes you can tell when he's there, because he'll start babbling and chewing on things, and you can hear the feedback in the microphone. But yeah, my day is a little jam packed right now, but I did have this brief window of time where I could jump on stream this morning, so that's what we're here to do. So I figured I would talk a little bit about how you guys celebrate Lord of the Rings. Because there's a lot of different ways to celebrate the Lord of the Rings universe. Obviously, the classic way is by reading the books. There are a lot of books available to read with Lord of the Rings. It's not just, the trilogy and the Hobbit. There's the Silmarillion. There's I don't even remember all the names of all the books, to be quite honest with you, but there are a lot. And there's a lot of lost tales that have come to us because of Tolkien's sons putting that stuff into the world for us by taking the writings of their father and collecting them and making them semi-legible, so that we as an audience can appreciate just how intricate the universe Tolkien designed truly is. And yes, some of it doesn't make sense. Some of it clashes. Some of it might not be what we wanted to hear is the canon of a certain story or of a certain character or a particular aspect of the story. But in any case, it exists. One thing that I wanted to kind of quote for you guys. So Tolkien wrote a bunch of letters. I don't even know how many letters. I know that there's over 200. I don't know exactly how many letters he wrote, but there's a collection of these letters from Tolkien, and they're all numbered in this collection. Letter number 7, letter number 17, etc. And in letter 131, there's a quote from this letter. So he wrote as a young man, just beginning to create his legendarium, he had dreamed of creating a vast body of more or less connected legend, ranging from the large and cosmogonic to the level of romantic fairy story. I would draw some of the great tales in fullness and leave many only placed in the scheme and sketched. The cycle should be linked to a majestic whole and yet leave scope for other minds and hands wielding paint and music and drama. And this is just one quote from the letters of Tolkien. But what we can perceive from this is Tolkien wasn't just designing a universe for himself to speak to and to write these stories to. He was designing a universe that he wanted to see other people contribute to in various forms of media and art. He really wanted to see his universe come to life in multiple forms. And in this day and age, we have so many forms of ways to appreciate Tolkien's universe because so many people have taken his vision and created their own thing of it. It's not necessarily always going to be true to exactly what Tolkien had written down, but that's okay because everyone has a different interpretation. And in order to appreciate things, you can't just take what is already existing. You have to build it. You have to make it your own version of that art. And with Tolkien, he had conceptualized the written word of this universe. He wrote these books. But there's also other people who wrote books inspired by Tolkien's universe. There's people who wrote entire atlases and did major books with artistic illustrations depicting scenes that Tolkien wrote about in his stories. We have, case in point, the Lord of the Rings role-playing game, which is the tabletop role-playing game that I'm going to be streaming a one-shot of. But this is just another form of media in which to inspire people to get into Lord of the Rings. There's other forms too, like there's not just Lord of the Rings role-playing, there's the One Ring system, which is another tabletop role-playing system. There's also video games. A very popular one is Lord of the Rings Online. That is a huge way for people to get into Lord of the Rings. And yes, the developers of Lord of the Rings Online have embellished on things. Some of it because of copyright reasons, not having the rights to write about Eregion, for example. And some of it is stuff to make sense of the story as it is. Lord of the Rings Online actually had a story beat that I actually loved. I think that it was a great addition to the Lord of the Rings story. And what it was during the War of the Ring, they actually had Radagast, so the Brown Wizard, have an entire story beat happening in Mirkwood. And forgive me, I don't know all the names off the top of my head, but from what I remember, there was a spider that was basically a offspring of Shelob, and she was existing in Mirkwood, and she was, I think, partnering up with this dude who was the general of Sauron's armies in the north, I believe. And again, this is straight from my memory, so details are a little fuzzy, but they were working to create a foothold in the north. And Radagast had come in to work against them and had gone imprisoned by this offspring of Shelob. And they actually had like these I guess adventurers come in and help free Radagast. And I believe, if I remember correctly, they even had one of the eagles imprisoned there as well. If I remember correctly. But I just loved the idea that Radagast actually had something to do in the War of the Ring. That he wasn't just, existing without having any sort of contribution, because it didn't make a lot of sense that we didn't have anything to indicate what he was actually doing during this entire season of strife occurring in Middle Earth. So to be able to have a story to say he wasn't doing nothing, he was actually busy because of XYZ, was satisfying for me as a fan of the Lord of the Rings universe. But that's just another form of media. I know Lord of the Rings Online has a lot of people who love the game, who love the community, but it is not 100% accurate to Tolkien's works. And that's okay, because it is making his universe into something that works for that form of media, something that makes sense for that form of media, because Tolkien was great, but he was one man, and he couldn't possibly fill all of the plot holes and gaps of information in his lifetime. He filled a lot of stuff in the universe, but there was no way that with that size of a story that he could possibly address every single thing that could have come up and every single story for every character that was in his story. So that's just one form of media. Another form of media that we have is the current Amazon Prime series, Rings of Power. And I know some people are a little upset about the Rings of Power. As a Tolkien fan myself, I actually love the Rings of Power. Yes, there are changes to the universe, but that is with any Tolkien media that you get into. And the changes that are made make sense for the story. Some people have said, oh, well, this didn't occur over the course of that period of time. They're shortening the timeline. But I've actually seen where people have explained, the rationale behind that. The biggest rationale being, in order to present this story to us, they are shortening the timelines and condensing it. But if they had presented it over the proper period of time, all of the humans, dwarves, hobbits, all of those characters would have to die, and their relatives continue on with the story. And it's really hard in a visual media to watch people come and go over and over and over again, because in visual media you establish a trust relationship with the character that you're seeing on screen. When you're first introduced to a character, you think, who is this person? What are they doing here? And then you, as you see their story unfold, you become empathetic to their cause, you become empathetic to the things they've been through, and you develop trust that they're going to, do the right thing, that they're going to stand up for their beliefs, that they're going to defend their loved ones, that kind of stuff. And it's hard to have a visual media where that is constantly broken and broken and broken and broken. So in Rings of Power, they condense the timeline so that we have the same characters for our dwarves, our humans, our hobbits. And most of the stuff that's presented is actually pretty true to Tolkien's work, aside from the timelines. If you completely, ignore the timeline aspect of it, a lot of it is right on par with the stuff that occurred in Tolkien's works. I really like how they present it, because don't get me wrong, I loved the movies from Peter Jackson, but there's a lot of stuff that was missing from it, a lot of stuff that was embellished, and a lot of stuff that wasn't given the importance that I would have personally seen. The biggest thing being the Valar. In Peter Jackson's universe, the concept of gods is just not something that I really saw highlighted at all. In Rings of Power, there's a whole lot of importance placed on the Valar and the Maiar, and that whole storyline. The changes with Sauron, for example, are actually really cool to watch happen. And I won't spoil anything in case anyone wants to watch Rings of Power and hasn't yet, but it is it's really cool to see something that you've read about become actualized on a screen, and to get all of the little references that they make, because some of the references, as a casual viewer, or someone who is not familiar with Lord of the Rings, it just seems like a one-off comment, just something in passing, and you don't really think about it. But if you are familiar with the Lord of the Rings universe, these little comments that they make kind of excite you, because it's like, oh, they referenced this person, and that's important because of this and this and this and this. Even the introduction of Tom Bombadil, we get to get a little bit of a preview of Tom Bombadil's life before he met Goldberry. But there's shadows of there's hints of references to Goldberry, where the stranger overhears Tom singing, and as he hears Tom singing, it sounds like there's a female voice joining in with him. So the stranger goes out and he's like, who is here? Who was singing with you? And he's like, oh, nobody, I was just singing by myself. And he's like, oh, I heard a woman's voice. And he's like, oh, that's strange. And it kind of, the story moves on from there. But for those of us who have read Lord of the Rings, we know, oh, that's Goldberry, that's his future wife, and we get excited about that kind of thing. But yeah, there's just a couple references to our medias. Obviously, a really big one is Peter Jackson's series. We actually, so for those of us who love the movies, most of us have watched the extended versions of Lord of the Rings. I'm actually currently rewatching the Hobbit series. Back in September, I think it was, I rewatched the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings series. I actually got to sit down and introduce my husband to the extended versions, because surprisingly, he had never watched the extended versions of Lord of the Rings. I was like, oh, you're in for a treat. So we actually sat down together and watched all of the extended Lord of the Rings editions. And right now I'm currently watching The Hobbit, partly because my baby has been semi-fussy, and so sometimes he's not ready for me to sit him down. He just wants to be cuddled for a while. So while he's wanting to be cuddled, I'm like, okay, let's watch something on the television for now. So right now, me and my baby are watching the Hobbit series. But I recently found out that apparently there's extended versions of the Hobbit series. I haven't looked too far into it to actually, find these extended versions and watch the extended versions. But for those of you who are watching who were not aware, there's extended versions available out there of The Hobbit. So something to keep your eye out for. I know that a lot of people too, they don't particularly like the Hobbit series because they turned one book into 3 movies, and it felt a little forced. I personally didn't have an issue with it. I think any Lord of the Rings media is good media, and while it was slightly stretched, I think that the way that they stretched it made sense for a movie series. Because I think if they had tried to make that series into one movie, I think it would have felt too condensed. And I think we would have lost a lot of really cool story development and character development moments. I think it probably wouldn't have felt worthwhile in the end. So I'm glad that they did what they did with that. The only thing, my only criticism of the Hobbit series is the placement of the fight with Smaug, because, and I think a lot of people think the same. If it were me, I would have made the second movie longer in order to end with Smaug dying. I wouldn't have placed that at the beginning of the third movie, because the Battle of the Five Armies felt like a good enough pinnacle for the third movie. And placing Smaug's death at the beginning of the third movie just felt like trivializing the fight with the dragon, which to me, I don't know, it just felt weird. I kind of see the suspense of, ending on Smaug flying towards Lake Town and Bill was saying, "Oh, what have we done?" And that suspense moment for the however long it was, 2-year wait. But after seeing the third movie, it didn't make sense to me to place that fight where they did. But that's my perception of the movie, and some people will actually really like where Smaug's fight was placed. Some people will hate the movie series entirely, and that's okay too. It's okay to dislike Lord of the Rings media, thinking that it wasn't done correctly or wasn't didn't hold up to your expectations. That's okay. It's okay to dislike stuff. My only gripe would be don't rain on other people's parade. If you don't like something, that doesn't mean that nobody should like it. If you don't like, a Lord of the Rings card game, that's okay. Maybe you don't like card games. Maybe you just don't think that Lord of the Rings should exist in a card game form. But if a lot of people like to play that card game, why would you Why would you rain on their parade? Why would you say, hey, you shouldn't like playing this card game because I don't like playing card games? That's my biggest stipulation is, you're free to like or dislike what you want. Just don't force other people to dislike it with you just because you don't like it. My most recent Lord of the Rings media, or I shouldn't say even media, but most recently I read an article, a news article, and this news article had said that these folks from Italy, this group of people, decide to recreate the Fellowship. So a bunch of these people got together. They got dressed in like Hobbit attire and Ranger attire, and got dressed like the Fellowship of the Ring. And these people decide that they were going to hike across country to throw a ring into Mount Vesuvius. I thought, man, that's cool. That is such a neat way to represent your love of Lord of the Rings, to engage with other people in your love, and it's kind of tying back to what we were talking about earlier, with working out being good for your mental health and your physical health and that kind of stuff. Because hiking in general is good for your health, but hiking the length that the Fellowship did, or hiking up a volcano, is something else entirely. And it's a good way to tie two things together. Your geeky passion and also good health lifestyle changes, or lifestyle, maybe not even changes, but maybe lifestyle habits. There's another, I don't know what the company's called, and maybe I'll look it up here. Hike the let's see. Yeah, Google's not useful. That's okay. But there's this company somewhere that does these badges for walking certain distances. And one of the paths or trips that you can select for this hike, you actually get like some badges for hiking to Mordor, or hiking to the Lonely Mountain. So they have these cool little like badge things that you can earn if you hike that distance or walk that distance. And that's another way to be inspired by your Lord of the Rings love. I'm sure that there's plenty of companies that do something similar, because for those of us who've seen the comparison charts of how far Frodo and Sam hiked, or how far Bilbo hiked, we know it's quite a distance. It is not for the faint of heart. And I think a lot of companies that do like these long trek hiking plans or walking plans end up referencing those distances if they have some sort of a goal in mind or an audience that they're trying to appeal to. I will say as a preface, if you are not in shape, have never hiked decent distances, do not decide you're going to just suddenly pick up hiking, pick up walking, and hike ridiculously long treks. Always talk to your doctor. Make sure that you are capable, that you're in a decent enough physical condition that your body can handle extreme exercise like that. Don't just push yourself to the limit, because bad things can happen if your body isn't warmed up to the idea of hiking those distances. And that's my little disclaimer. Talk to your doctor today about hiking to Mordor, because most of us, or some of us should realize the sedentary lifestyle of hobbits is comparable to some of our lifestyles nowadays. But when you're actually looking at getting into exercising, do not decide that you're going to go thousands and thousands of kilometers because, oh, that's what Frodo did, and he was fine. The disclaimer is, these are fantasy series. This is not something that the average person should just hop into. Lots of stuff can go wrong. Your heart could give out. You could have inflammation of various things. Your joints, your muscles, your lungs. There's a whole lot of stuff that can go wrong. So just be mindful that exercise should be taken in stages. Welcome back, Pizza Man. Yeah, but Frodo was built different, and he had second breakfast. Yes, Frodo was built different. Frodo was built, I like to imagine that Frodo did a lot of walking in the Shire, because he often went to see the elves and traveling through the South Farthing and that kind of stuff. So I like to imagine that he frequently walked around the Shire because he was, I think, bored of his everyday. So I like to think that he was already training up for that 1,000 and some odd kilometer trek to Mordor. And even then, disclaimer, again, Frodo was carried the last half of the way, not last half, but he was carried for the last bit of the journey. Even his body gave out. And we won't get into the fact that, there was an evil ring weighing on his heart and his soul and his body to make that worse. But Frodo trained up a little bit and wasn't able to finish up the journey. So it's a good reminder for all of us, don't push yourself too far. Hold my pizza, man. Oh yeah, through the hardest part as well, Sam pulled through and pulled his weight plus some. Yes, Sam was the true hero of the series. I love. Sorry, this is a tangent, but Sam was the greatest happenstance to happen in the series. Like, there's a lot of stuff that occurs in the series that lines up perfectly so that they can, succeed in their mission. Not killing Smeagol, the separation of the company so that Aragorn could, reclaim his title and help them storm the Black Gate so that Sauron was distracted, so that Frodo and Sam could make their way across Mordor. Like, there's so much happenstance that it was a chance, and it kind of reminds me of Marvel. So for those of you who aren't Marvel fans, there's a scene where there's this big, guy called Thanos, and he wants to destroy the I think it's one half of the universe, that everything's in balance, and so that there's no food shortages and all this stuff. And there's this snap that he does with his fingers to get rid of people. And a bunch of people do dissolve, disappear. It's a whole thing. But there's a scene where there's this big build-up. All the superheroes are fighting Thanos and Thanos' armies. And there's this, I want to call him a sorcerer, but he's not properly a sorcerer. But he is able to see all the different timelines. And he says that there is one chance for them to defeat Thanos. And everything had to line up exactly perfectly in order for them to defeat Thanos. In a million different iterations of the timeline, there's only one iteration where they defeat Thanos. And it's just everything lining up exactly perfectly so that, I won't spoil it for those of you that haven't watched it, but one person does one thing that is completely out of character for him, and that's how they defeat Thanos. And it's just all the universe converging, everything happening exactly how it had to, the pieces following exactly how they had to. And when all of that happened, they were able to defeat him. And it's the same thing in Lord of the Rings. Everything was working against Frodo and Sam. And from, Gandalf hearing Sam outside the window, tending to the garden, to the appearance of the orcs, causing Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli to divert their attention elsewhere, to follow these orcs to free Merry and Pippin, to the distraction of the army. There's so much stuff. And even going back, when Bilbo could have killed Smeagol, that was just one other situation where everything just lined up perfectly. Because if Bilbo had killed Smeagol at that point in time, can we just imagine what would have happened? Because Sam and Frodo were lost. They had no idea how to get to Mordor. They had been going around in circles. They needed a guide. And if Smeagol didn't show up, who was going to show up? No one, because who would be out there? Who would possibly be out there? And even if they had encountered someone, what are the chances they would have overpowered Sam and Frodo and taken the ring? Because most people were wanting the ring at that point in time. It's just, I like all those kinds of things. I like all of the pieces lining up how they have to. Sam was the most unprepared out of the hobbits, in my opinion. Underdog to hero kind of deal. Tangent away. Yeah, Pizza Man. Sam, I don't know. I would say that out of all of them, I think that Pippin was probably the most underprepared. That's just my personal opinion. I always see Pippin as kind of he's an innocent little hobbit. He reminds me of like a deer in the headlights, like just innocent, like, oh yeah, we're going on an adventure. Okay, that sounds like fun. Oh, whoops, I accidentally, knocked something down a well, and now we're fighting a bunch of people in Mordor. I love Pippin. I love how much of a klutz he is. But I think that everyone, personally, in my opinion, I think that he was probably the most underprepared, because I don't think that he even realized what he was getting into until he was, really, I don't think he even recognized it until he was in the presence of, oh God, what is his name? The steward, why am I forgetting his name? Oh God, I forgot about that. He's so oblivious. Starting to get bad signal area, so I'll probably lose you in a bit. That's okay, Pizza Man. I appreciate you joining the stream. Good chatting with you, as always. For those of you who like to watch Minecraft, or I don't really know the other stuff you stream, Pizza Man, but I know you stream Minecraft for sure. But for those of you who are interested, Pizza Man usually streams daily. At least every time I've looked, you're usually streaming on a daily basis. I don't know how to do that cool little shout out thing that you did. Let me try. I don't know, what was it? Shout out? Let's try that. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know. I'm not well versed in Twitch stuff. Let me just see how to shout out on Twitch. Oh, I almost got it. Shout out. Ha 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 ha. Shout out. At. Ha ha. Ha ha. There you go. Alright. I found out. Okay. Anything and everything, 7 days, except tomorrow since I'm taking the woman on a date. Aw, congratulations. Well, you guys, enjoy your date. I appreciate you guys, I appreciate you joining the stream and chatting. Yeah, no, everyone, check out Pizza Man, because he's very chill and is a good vibes streamer. So check him out. He's good with chatting with people in the chat too. So yay. Yeah, I learned something new today. I stream every time I stream, I seem to learn something new. It's whether it's something to do with my Streamlabs setup, or what I should be doing in preparation for my stream, or even making a plan for my stream. Because at first I didn't really make a plan for what I would do with my streams. I would kind of just talked about whatever I wanted, and then I was like, I think my last stream it was the one where I was probably the most unprepared. I didn't really have a whole lot of content available to talk about, so I was just like, I'll just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, which was not a good idea. I shouldn't have done that. don't get me wrong, people still joined the stream, people still chatted, but for today's stream, I was like, you know what? No, I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Lord of the Rings media, because there's a whole lot of media out there. So much media, and I probably haven't even scraped half of the surface off. But part of the reason I wanted to mention this was because there's actually a cool thing coming up. And for those of you, let me just find it here, Tolkien. So there is a thing called the Tolkien Society, and they're a charity. They do education, and they're devoted to the study and promotion of the life and works of the author and academic J.R.R. Tolkien. They do a bunch of different stuff, but really cool thing that I wanted to talk about is they actually have a upcoming conference, and it's called the Christopher Tolkien Centenary Conference. It's coming up on the 23rd to the 24th, so this is not this Friday, Saturday, but next Friday, Saturday. And what they do is it's basically about Christopher Tolkien. So not his father, but about the son. So this November marks 100 years since the birth of Christopher Tolkien, and they're having an online event to celebrate his life and legacy. Because without Christopher, there's so much we would be missing from the Lord of the Rings universe. There is a bunch of stuff that Tolkien had written that never got published in his lifetime. So Christopher did the work for like 50 years working to actualize all of that and bring that to the surface for us and make it public knowledge, because and granted, I was not alive 50 years ago, so I don't know what the perception was of the Lord of the Rings universe 50 years ago, if people thought, yeah, there's definitely more to this, or if they thought, oh, this is it. But Christopher Tolkien was the one to bring everything out, make everything, no, my hands are disappearing. He was the one to make everything real for us. So they have a bunch of different stuff. They have tons of speakers at this. And it starts Saturday, November 23rd at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so pretty early for Americans, or I should say people from the Americas. And they have a bunch of different people. So they have people talking about what it was like working with them, people who have written books about Christopher Tolkien. There's art-oriented recollection of talking with Christopher Tolkien. People talking about what it was like, or what kind of a scholar he was, what it was like editing The Hobbit. There's just so much stuff. The second day, Sunday, November 24th, starts even earlier. So it starts at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And they have just a bunch of different stuff. They probably have like 20 or 30 different speakers at this. Obviously, it is like 2 big days. If you guys want to attend this conference, it's free to attend. It's all online, so there's no having to get out of your pajamas. You can sit on your couch and listen in or watch this. They are going to record and upload all the discussions to YouTube after the event's over. So if you can't make it, there is other ways to take part in this or to listen in on the stuff that they discuss. But they have a bunch of different stuff. They're actually also encouraging people. I think that this is really cute how they worded this. So they said, as this is an online event, we are encouraging SMEALs to get together, either at someone's house or in a public venue, so they might be able to enjoy and discuss the proceedings of the conference together in real time. We also think it would be a good opportunity to share appropriate food and drink together. Should you have any thoughts or questions, you can get in touch with our SMEALs coordinator. SMEALs being hobbit holes. I think that that's just such a cute, nod towards some of the work of Tolkien to say, we have a hobbit hole coordinator. But if you guys want to attend, you can register for the conference. The website's called www.tolkiensociety.org. And they're right on the main page. They have a little section called Events. And you should be able to see Christopher Tolkien Centenary Conference. I'm never going to be able to pronounce that correctly. And right at the bottom of the page, you enter in your name, your email, your country, and you send that in. You can also donate to the Tolkien Society if you want to. It's not required. Like I said, this is a entirely free conference to attend. But there's a lot of different stuff. They've got the artists who illustrated covers for The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and History of Middle-earth. They've got a researcher on medieval literature and the works of Tolkien. They've got the author of the History of the Hobbit, author of The Fall of Numenor. They've got, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of some of the people. They've got the co-editor of the collected poems of J.R.R. Tolkien. They've got Bodley's librarian and co-editor of The Great Tales Never End. They've got just a real stellar lineup for this. And being that it's, the 100th anniversary of Christopher's birth, there's a lot of really cool stuff that they have lined up here. So I really recommend going out and supporting this conference if you can. If you're not able to attend, maybe someone else is able to attend. Spread the word if you think that people would be interested in this kind of thing, because there's so much that we owe to Christopher Tolkien, and I think that it's really cool to celebrate his life and celebrate his work. But yeah, that's all I had to mention on that. I'm going to take a quick little break, drink some coffee, that kind of thing. I will be right back to chat with you guys, starting shortly. All right, I am back. I have a little bit of coffee left. But yeah, no, I appreciate everyone engaging in chat today. Those of you who have joined me as I rant and rave about Tolkien media and Lord of the Rings media this fine Thursday morning. I really appreciate everyone's support, whether that's chatting, watching. If you guys like the stream, continue to support me. Like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the fancy things. It's one click for you guys, but it makes a big difference for me. I am on my current second goal on Twitch to get to 20 followers. So I'm currently sitting at 16 followers. So if I get a few more, we'll be acing this here. But yeah, I really do appreciate everyone's support. Continued patronage and continued views inspire me to continue to work towards my Lord of the Rings one shot here. We're getting closer to setting an actual date for that one shot. I've got two of my characters who are two of my players who have completed their characters for the one shot. There's a remaining 3 still that need to finish up their characters, but once we're finished all of our characters and I have an opportunity to have a conversation with each of them to develop their backstories a little bit, we're going to look at setting our date, and then I'm going to advertise. You're going to see me talking about that date once we have it finalized. Every time I stream, you're going to see on my blue sky. You're going to, maybe I'll post it at the top of my stream somewhere. But we're going to have a hard and firm date. Depending on the date that we choose, we'll decide if I end up getting my husband to stay home for a few hours so that I can focus on running that one shot. I won't get him to take a day off work, but my husband does quite a bit of hunting. So right now we're in the midst of hunting season, and he's trying to get his bull moose, and every single time the moose avoids him somehow. So he's working really, really hard to provide food, red meat for our freezer, because living where we do, meat is very expensive. So hunting is not only a hobby, but a necessity in order for us to make ends meet where we live. So he's been working hard doing that every morning, every evening that he's not working. He's out there trying to provide for us. So I'm doing my best not to interfere with his schedule, but depending on when we set this date, I might get him to try to stay home for a morning or for an evening, so that I can focus on the stream, focus on the one shot, and so that my baby feels well taken care of and well loved. Obviously, I won't be able to dedicate the entire stream without looking after my baby. He is only 7 months, so I do need to take breaks every once in a while to feed him and that kind of stuff. But if I get my husband to stay home, the disturbance, whether that's audio disturbance or me being distracted, will be greatly minimized, and then that improves the viewing experience for you guys as viewers. So better all around for everyone. Again, if you like this stream, give me a follow, give me a like, give me a share. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment. I have a Blue Sky where I go to post updates on when I'm going to be streaming. It's also where I leave updates when I'm not going to be streaming, depending on what's happening in my life. Maybe I'm not able to get on to stream when I think I might be able to. So follow me on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is a lot like Twitter, except not horrible. It is the up-and-coming, better alternative to Twitter. So give me a follow on there. We are gearing up, like I said, for our one-shot. So continue to keep an eye out for the set date on that. Here is our upcoming one-shot. It's called Of Ill Fillings and Miscrust, a Lord of the Rings role-playing 5e one-shot. So that one-shot is completely homebrewed by me. It is going to be set in the Shire, and it's a little whodunit. Something bad has happened at the local festival. So our player heroes are going to come in and try and solve this mystery for us. If you are interested in the role-playing, mystery, skill challenge, whodunits, this is the one for you. And we've got a lot of really cool characters that our players are going to be working on. Lots of really interesting hobbits with really interesting stories to them. So I hope you guys use this as a good opportunity to get into a new form of Lord of the Rings media. As always, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all of your views. It makes my heart happy. It really does. I'm glad I had an opportunity to stream to you guys today. Again, thank you everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, rest of your Thursday morning. You guys take care, and we will chat again later. Bye for now.